Okay, we are back. Let's get to the next case. This is number 52 in the airport district. Head case. Matthew, returning under the dome, has finally revealed what Ad Astra's planned supernova is. They're developing a serum conferring practically superhuman abilities to people. But not to everyone, only those who deserve it. The Ad Astrans have undoubtedly created this serum for themselves. They've always thought themselves superior to the sheeple. Imagine the havoc Rosetta and her cohorts could wreak by turning themselves into superhumans. Exactly. Jasper and I are pulling double shifts to understand how this serum works, so we can stop them in time. But there's not much to go on. Dreamlight destroyed most of their files, and many of their unfortunate test subjects are dead. Jones, you're not going to like this, but Zoe might be the only person who can help. We know they experimented on her for Protozane. What if they also used her for this enhancement project? Zoe was tortured and traumatized under the dome, Amir. Even if she remembers something, I doubt she'll be willing to talk. Jones, I understand your concerns. Nobody wants Zoe to suffer anymore. But with you and Matthew at the hospital, she'll feel safe, and I'll come along for support. Alright, Matthew, if you must talk to her, now's the best time. She's usually outside in the courtyard in the mornings, enjoying the fresh air. Let's go see her. Alright. Please let this be somebody else. Oh no. It is Zoe. Oh no. Son of a gun? Zoe! No! Who hurt you? Gabriel, get a doctor now! Jones, it's too late. Zoe's skull is broken and she's not breathing. I'm afraid she's dead. No, don't say it! I don't want to hear that word! Zoe can't be gone. She can't! Oh, no. Jones, I'm so sorry. Matthew, we better get him back to the station. Matthew, tell me it's not true. Zoe's been murdered? I can't bear to hear that word. My poor Zoe. Oh, God. I'm so sorry, Jones. Gabriel, can you take Jones to your office? Of course, Chief. I'll give Jones some sedatives and keep an eye on him. Jones is in no state to investigate, but Matthew, you must find out who did this to Zoe. This isn't just a personal tragedy for Jones. Zoe might have been a witness against Ad Astra and their enhanced human experimentation. I'll get Martine started on the autopsy. Matthew, you and Gloria return to the hospital and examine that crime scene with a fine-tooth comb. Understood, Chief. Come on, Matthew, let's do this for Jones. I was going to put something in, but I decided not to. Oh man, you gotta feel for Jones. This is beyond words, Matthew. How tragic after everything Zoe's been through. My heart breaks for Jones. Mine too. But who could have done this to Zoe, and why? Do you think someone killed Zoe because she did know something about Ad Astra's human enhancement research? You're right, Matthew. We can't speculate. Let's examine that set of keys instead. Decoding the tag might give us a witness. And if you think there's a clue among that gardening equipment, I'd say search it, Matthew. Whatever it takes, we'll find Zoe's killer. Let's get to work. I'll take the gardening equipment first. Earring. Is that an earring under that gardening equipment, Matthew? You're right, Zoe wore earrings like that. What if she lost it during a struggle with the killer? Let's send Zoe's earring to the lab. Amir might find us a valuable clue. Okay, I gotta get some stars, so sit tight, folks. Okay, I got 7 stars. I'm gonna get the key out of the way now. T. Randall. Almost like Tony Randall. Apparently these keys belong to a certain T. Randall, Matthew. I see. There's an orderly working at the hospital named Tobias Randall. It's a lead, Matthew. Let's find Mr. Randall and see what he can tell us. Tobias. I just use Tobias, because that's what Gibbs says on NCIS. So let's talk to Tobias Randall. Tobias Randall, Senior Chipper Matthew would like to ask you some questions about... If this is about those bedpans, I swear that had nothing to do with me. No, we're investigating the murder of a patient, Zoe Kusama. What? Miss Kusama's been killed? Yes, and since you dropped your keys in the courtyard, we wondered whether you saw anything unusual. No, I wheeled Miss Kusama down from her room after breakfast. The patients are often sedated in the morning and the fresh air is therapeutic. This might sound callous, Senior Trooper Matthew, but it's probably a mercy Miss Kusama is gone. How do you mean? Zoe was a particularly tortured soul, but now she's free from her demons. We all wanted Zoe to be free from her demons, but not like this. We like to examine Zoe's room, if it could show us the way. Of course, Senior Trooper Matthew, follow me. Oh, the pocket watch is a clue? Look at Zoe's photographs, Matthew. Despite everything, Zoe and Jones always face their hardships together. But that pocket watch doesn't look like it belongs to Zoe. Let's test the faded engraving to find out what it says. And those scraps of paper could be a valuable clue. Let's piece them together, Matthew. That's an odd engraving. JR? The engraving on that watch looks like a monogram, Matthew, but those aren't Zoe's initials. Let's compare this monogram to the database to try to identify the watch's owner. Mr. 9, Jennifer Russo. Oh, yeah. You found a match for that monogram, Matthew. This watch belongs to Dr. Jennifer Russo. We've met the therapist before. She must treat patients at the hospital, too. In any case, if Dr. Russo is treating Zoe, we should speak to her at once. Senior Trooper Matthew, I'm sorry we're meeting again under such tragic circumstances. I heard about Zoe's murder. So you were treating her. We found your pocket watch in Miss Kusama's room. Zoe found the ticking of my watch soothing, so I lent it to her. Can you tell us anything specific about Zoe's treatment? The details are naturally confidential, but Zoe was remembering more each day and coming to terms with her guilt about killing Dr. Vega. It's difficult to say whether she'd have ever made a full recovery. I guess now we'll never know. Can you think of anyone who might have wanted to harm Zoe? Any of the other patients? It never came up in any of our sessions, Senior Trooper Matthew, but if anything comes to mind, I'll be sure to let you know. That torn paper is a drawing, Matthew. Judging from his gown, this looks like a fellow patient, and he's holding a lava lamp. Wait, I remember we interviewed a psychiatric patient with a lava lamp. A former Dreamlife employee who lost his mind under the dome. Kai Gruber, that's him. Interesting that Gruber ended up in the same hospital as Zoe, both having suffered at the hands of Dreamlife. Maybe they knew each other. Let's ask Kai Gruber. Hello, Mr. Gruber. Do you remember us? Senior Trooper Matthew and I spoke. Yes, you brought Benny Lava back to me. Benny Lava's my best friend. That's right. We wanted to ask you some questions about Zoe Kusama. She was another patient here. Zoe? Benny Lava, do we know anyone named Zoe? Oh yes, Zoe. She's nice. She sometimes shares her pudding with me and her radio waves. I collect those. No, Mr. Gruber. Zoe, We can't have radios in here, but the waves, they're everywhere. They can't stop me from having those. Thanks for your help, Mr. Gruber. We'll leave it at that. Come on, Matthew, this is a dead end. We won't get anything out of Mr. Gruber. And I'll see you guys when these two are done, but I'm going to collect more stars. See y'all later. Alright, we are back, and we're starting the most grimmest case of all. Resuming the most grimmest case of all. It's moments like these when personal feelings make my job difficult, Matthew. First Rupert, then Mia, and now Zoe. It's all too close to home. How's Jones holding up? Gabriel is looking after Jones. Now, as difficult as it was, did you find anything during the autopsy? Zoe's head wound indicates she was attacked with a pole or a club of some kind, killed by blunt force trauma. How ironic, given that Zoe murdered Dr. Vega by breaking his skull. Meanwhile, I found something the killer left behind. There were traces of mouthwash around Zoe's head wound, which must have been transferred from the murder weapon. It was most likely on the killer's hands. Mouthwash or not, Matthew, a murder conviction will leave a bad taste in the killer's mouth. Now on to a mirror. Zoe's death is devastating, Matthew. She suffered so much already. Kidnapping, experiments, amnesia. And Ad Astra was responsible for it all. Do you think they had a hand in her murder too? That's what we're trying to find out. Were there any clues on Zoe's earring? Apart from Zoe's, there wasn't any DNA on the earring. But it wasn't a total loss. I found traces of ointment on the jewelry, hydrocortisone to be precise. The compound is used to treat itchy skin, resulting from an allergy to dust mites. Zoe wasn't allergic to dust mites, so given that the earring was discarded by her killer, logic dictates the ointment is theirs. There's no mite about it, Matthew. Now that we know the killer has an allergy, catching them is a certainty. I'm still in shock after everything that's happened, Matthew. We visited Zoe in the psychiatric hospital to see if she knew anything about Ad Astra's human enhancement research, but instead we found her murdered. This is tragic, Matthew. Jones has lost the love of his life, and we've lost a potential witness. There's no telling what Zoe might have known about Ad Astra's experiments. Dr. Russo said Zoe was regaining her memory. Is it possible Ad Astra orchestrated Zoe's murder to silence her? Orderly Tobias Randall claims he didn't see the crime, and Kai Gruber He didn't make much sense at all. This is crazy, if you're part of my choice of words. Matthew, you've got to get back to the asylum quickly. Some patients found out about Zoe's murder. They're causing a disturbance at the hospital. Yikes. And we'll start chapter 2 after this. Do not go anywhere. Alright folks, we have returned. And let's start chapter 2 of Head Case. This was where we left off on. Some patients found out about Zoe's murder. They're causing trouble in the hospital common room. Oh great, Matthew. More madness. Let's get the situation under control. Santa Claus is responsible for this. He's coming to town. He'll kill us all. Everybody calm down. Santa's not... But he's making a list. He sees us when we're sleeping. He knew Zoe was awake and now she's dead. Everyone relax. Santa doesn't want to hurt you. He brings you presents. Remember last Christmas? Yeah, but... And you left him cookies. Let's go back to our rooms and we'll have cookies. Yeah, cookies. Santa loves cookies. Thanks for your assistance, Senior Trooper Matthew. I'll take it from here. That was intense, Matthew. Zoe's murder has the patients were pretty rattled. Now that everything's under control, let's search the common room. It's likely Zoe spent some time here. I really never thought it would ever come to this. This is just one of those times where you just want something to go right. You just want the one witness alive, and it almost never happens. Got this. Smart thinking, Matthew. If Zoe had any visitors, they'll be in the faded entrance of that sign-in book. And we must follow any potential lead. So let's search that trash can. There we go. Blood-stained paper. That crumpled paper in the trash has blood on it, Matthew. If that blood matches Zoe, then that paper was discarded by her killer. Matching paper, burn them in boxes. Is this strange list merely the crazy ramblings of one of the patients? Regardless, it may be a clue. Let's have Gabriel examine this list. Matthew, this log says Zoe was visited this morning by Louis LaRue, the journalist. Right, that makes sense. Mr. LaRue has been Zoe's friend since before she went missing. We better inform Mr. LaRue about the murder, Matthew. Senior Trooper Matthew, I've heard the terrible news. How's Jones doing? He must be a wreck. I myself am devastated. You have our condolences, Mr. LaRue. Did anything seem out of the ordinary when you visited Zoe this morning? No, Zoe seemed fine. She's improved so much lately, I was sure she'd recover one day. And it ends like this, after everything she'd been through. Senior Trooper Matthew, I'm sorry to cut this short, but I have a broadcast. One swig of mouthwash and I'm on the air. I trust you'll make short work of this investigation. And I'll let the bloodstain list run its course. See you when that's done. Alright folks, we've returned. My heart still aches for Jones. Let's get the results of the bloodstain test. How's Jones doing, Gabriel? He must be beside himself. He's resting, Matthew. The important thing right now is to be there for him. I can't imagine losing a loved one to such a violent crime. We must bring the killer to justice. On that note, did you make an effort or any sense of that list Matthew sent you? Amir confirmed the blood type is a match for Zoe, so it's clear it was discarded by her killer. The list itself confused me at first, but then it clicked. Matthew, Sophia and I often play crossword puzzles against each other, online, and this list looks exactly like a set of clues. Matching paper, for example. The answer is confetti. Confetti is paper used at weddings, where lifelong matches are made. Get it? I saw the rest of the clues in no time, Matthew. This is a page from a crossword puzzle book. Given the blood, we now know that your killer enjoys crossword puzzles. They must have wiped their hands with this page. So the killer does crosswords. Well, we're one step closer to solving our puzzle. And I agree, Matthew. Let's head back and search Zoe's room. Tablet. Murderer. Oh boy. Someone scribbled murderer across Zoe's mirror, Matthew. Who would do such a thing? I agree. Taking a sample of that blue substance might provide an answer. And who could have left that tablet in Zoe's room? If you crack this tablet's password, Matthew, we'll see who it belongs to. Alright, Matthew, let's get this blue substance to the lab. Whoever wrote murderer on Zoe's mirror has some explaining to do. Oh, 9 hours, okay. Unlock me. This tablet belongs to Dr. Russo, Matthew, and these are some of her session notes about Zoe. This is strange. It says here Dr. Russo was concerned about Zoe's treatment. Miss Kusama is becoming increasingly agitated, refusing to take her prescribed medication. That's not what Dr. Russo said before, Matthew. She said Zoe was improving. Let's find out why she lied. Dr. Russo, you claim Zoe was recovering, but your session notes suggest otherwise. Thank you for returning my tablet, Senior Chipper Matthew. Those notes are confidential, but I suppose there's no harm explaining them to you. Miss Kusama was improving, becoming stronger and more well-balanced. Too strong for her own good, in fact. Zoe began refusing treatment, claiming I was keeping her overly sedated. Treating Zoe's psychological trauma was complex, Senior Chipper Matthew. It wasn't like solving my morning crossword puzzle. So your solution was prescribing more drugs? I assure you, the doses I prescribed were mild. Those sedatives were no more harmful than my mouthwash or my allergy cream. Still, a patient accusing you of overprescribing must have been inconvenient, if Zoe was well enough to take her complaints further. Senior Chipper Matthew, that's pure speculation. Now I suggest you let me do my job, and I wish you success in yours. We'll let the blue substance run its course. I'll see you when that's done. Okay, we are back. Let's get the results of the blue substance. I finished my report on that blue substance you collected off Zoe's mirror, Matthew. Someone actually wrote murderer with this. Yes, and we're eager to find out who it was. I think I can help. The compound is calcium hypochlorite, a hospital-grade cleaning agent. In facilities like hospitals, it's a disinfectant commonly used by support staff. Support staff? Like an orderly? Do you think Tobias Randall wrote that message, Matthew? You're right. We can't deny the evidence. Mr. Randall needs to explain himself. I'm just freshening up after that uproar in the common room, Senior Chipper Matthew. Everyone's on edge with a murderer on the loose. Speaking of which, how do you explain writing murderer across Zoe's mirror? How did you know that was me? Alright, I did write that. But it's true. Zoe was nothing but a cold-blooded killer. We're familiar with Zoe's record. The judge ruled she was under extreme psychological duress and wasn't responsible for her actions. That's what the quacks all say. But murder is murder no matter what you call it. My little brother got killed by one of these maniacs, and the guy never went to jail. Diminished responsibility, they called it. What about justice for my brother? Zoe deserved to be in jail. It's no wonder she was chummy with that Wilcox woman, another notorious murderer. You mean Rosamund Wilcox? The infamous Rocket Cow killer? Zoe was friends with her? Why are you surprised? killers like them stick together. Interesting attitude, Mr. Randall. Meanwhile, Matthew, if Wilcox is a patient here and she knew Zoe, that's an unexpected lead we should follow. I can't say I'm looking forward to seeing Rosamund Wilcox again, Matthew. That woman kidnapped me. I highly doubt Zoe was chummy with a serial killer, but let's hear what Wilcox has to say. It's a shame it took a murder investigation for you to come visit me, Senior Trooper Matthew. Have you missed me, Officer Hayes? We're not here to reminisce. Tell us, is it true you and Zoe Kusama were friends? Zoe was the only one around here I could get along with. I mean, have you seen the rest of these loons? We chat for hours while I drank my decaf coffee. And were you out chatting with Zoe in the courtyard this morning? Excuse me. I wasn't even awake. I'm hardly out of bed before lunchtime. Well, you can go back to bed now. Senior Trooper Matthew knows where to find you. Alright, Matthew, let's review what we know. We've learned Louis LaRue visited Zoe this morning, saying her condition was visibly improving. While Dr. Russo still believes Zoe needed to be sedated. We also discovered Zoe made an unlikely friend in the hospital, serial killer Rosamund Wilcox. Meanwhile, Tobias Randall harbors a grudge against his patients, saying Zoe should have been in jail. With so many contradictions, Matthew, how are we... So have you done it, Matthew? Have you figured out which one of those monsters killed Zoe? I'll kill them with my bare hand! Oh gosh. We'll see you guys for Chapter 3, see if we can snap Jones out of it. Alright, we have come back now for Chapter 3 of Head Case. And we last left off with Jones looking like he was drunk or sleep deprived. Jones? What are you doing here? You should be with Gabriel. I'll kill them, Matthew, with my bare hand. I don't care what happens. Jones, we know you're upset, but calm down. Come on, Jones, come back to my office. Matthew has the investigation in hand. I'm worried about Jones, Matthew. He seems to be at the end of his rope. You're right. All the more reason to catch Zoe's killer. Let's do another sweep of the hospital common room. I dread to think what's going to happen. I dread to think what's going to happen with Jones, even after this case is done. Matthew, we know the killer was in the common room. Maybe we'll find a clue from the footage on that security camera. And look at this domino board. Someone spelled Die Zoe with those pieces. That's no coincidence, Matthew. A sample of that liquid stain might provide a lead. And check out that cubby bin, Matthew. It has Zoe's name on it. Let's search through her personal belongings. We're hot on the killer's trail. I can feel it. Let's get to work on these clues. Got it. Zoe's diary. You found Zoe's diary in her cubby bin, Matthew. Her initials are on it. Reading Zoe's innermost thoughts will give us insight into her state of mind before she died. Let's have Gabriel examine Zoe's journal. This is also 9 hours. Okay. Alright, Matthew, let's press play and see what this security camera recorded. You witch! You've been sent to kill me! Benny Lava says so! But Kai, I won't hurt you! Are you calling Benny Lava a liar? I knew he was the only one I could trust! If you ever come near me again, it'll be the last thing you do! Yikes. This is footage of Zoe, Matthew, and that's a whopper of an argument. Kai Gruber said he liked Zoe, but he straight out threatened her. We better ask Kai to explain this, Matthew. Hopefully he'll make more sense this time. It finally worked. Finally loaded up. The train schedules are making me itchy, Senior Trooper Matthew. The doc says I'm allergic to dust mites, but that's what the trains want you to believe. We're sorry to hear that, but we need to talk to you about Zoe. You said Zoe was nice, but we know you argued. You warned her to stay away. It's because I realized Zoe was here to kill me, Senior Trooper Matthew. She'd come from under the dome. The Rose must have sent her. Zoe admitted she'd been under the dome during group therapy. That's why I couldn't trust her. She was going to poison my mouthwash. I knew it. All the signs were there. I could see it in my crossword puzzle clues. Zoe was going to get me on the Rose's orders. Kai, did you kill Zoe so she wouldn't hurt you? Benny Lava said I should kill her, but I didn't. And now that she's gone, the Rose can't hurt me anymore. I wonder if he's talking about Rosetta Pierre. Let's get the domino board now. substance. Matthew, whoever spelled Die Zoe on that domino board clearly had harmful intentions. Let's put the sample under the microscope to figure out who it was. My guess would be that's peanut butter. Oh, decaf coffee. The liquid stain on that domino board is decaf coffee, Matthew. You're right. Rosamund Wilcox said she drinks decaf, so she was the one who wanted Zoe dead? I knew her friendship with Zoe was a sham. Let's go grill Wilcox. Alright, Wilcox, we saw your threat to Zoe. Is murder just a game to you? What's the big deal, Senior Trooper Matthew? So I made a joke with my dominoes. I do crosswords too. You want to arrest me for that? Don't try our patience. We can easily add another murder conviction to your record. Alright, I guess I've had my fun. The truth is, I've been planning to kill Zoe for weeks. You what? You were going to kill Zoe? Not at first. I didn't give that boring drag a second thought. Until I discovered she was Detective Jones's girlfriend. That's when I came up with an entertaining plan. I got Zoe to confide in me, then I get inside her head, taunting her with her own fears, like that game board. It was fun watching her suffer, and even more satisfying to see Jones all worried about her. What a bitch. I would have killed her eventually. That would have been my ultimate revenge on the Grimsboro PD. Unfortunately, somebody got to her first. I guess the party's over. Well, if Senior Trooper Matthew finds out you went through with your plans, your troubles are just beginning. Unfortunately, she's not in the running. But still, my heart still aches for Jones. I really hope that we'll find his killer. And I'll let Zoe's diary run its course, and I'll see you when that's done. Okay, we're back. Let's get the results of Zoe's diary. I've read Zoe's diary, Matthew, and I might have found something. Despite her progress, the entries indicate Zoe's mind was troubled. The writing is often incoherent, mostly a collection of randomly resurfacing memories. And there's nothing about Ad Astra or Plan Supernova. I suppose it would have been too easy, but you said you found something? Zoe writes that Louis LaRue frequently visited. She seemed happy about it at first, but becomes increasingly uncomfortable with his behavior. There are no details, but it's evident LaRue is making Zoe feel uneasy. Just last night, Zoe wrote she didn't want to see LaRue anymore, and was going to demand he stops coming. What reason would Zoe have to not want to see her friend? I agree, Matthew. Let's talk to Louis LaRue again. Senior Trooper Matthew, what's a 6-letter word for a tropical fruit? This crossword puzzle's been bothering me all day. We prefer to know why Zoe never wanted to see you again. We read her diary. Ah, so you know. Well, that was a misunderstanding. Whenever I visited Zoe, I'd bring flowers or other gifts to cheer her up. But Zoe mistook this for flirtation. She thought I was making a pass at her. I never do that. She loved Jones. I wouldn't get in the way of that. And besides, we were just friends. So what happened this morning? Did Zoe confront you? Yes, I explained myself, but she thought I was lying because I was all fidgety. But I was itchy, this dust mite allergy of mine. She yelled at me, but I didn't take it to heart. Zoe was having one of her particularly bad days because of her medication. It breaks my heart that our last encounter was an argument. Matthew, Zoe was sent to the psychiatric hospital to recover, but her environment was more hostile than therapeutic. Fellow patient Kai Gruber was paranoid Zoe wanted to kill him, delusions that could have easily driven him to murder. Meanwhile, Rosamund Wilcox played cruel mind games with Zoe, enjoying her and Jones's torment as revenge on the police. Not to mention, Zoe seems to have fallen out with her friend, Louis LaRue. Apparently, Jones was the only one fighting in Zoe's corner, and he's shattered with grief. Matthew, it's time we solve this case once and for all. Let's return to the scene of the crime. Got it. That crossword book must be the killer's, Matthew. The torn out page inside matches the blood-stained clues we found earlier. Let's collect a sample of that dirt from the cover. Perhaps Amir can find us a clue. And that garden shed is the ideal place to hide evidence, Matthew. Let's open it up. Gardening. Let's look inside that garden shed, Matthew. There's a blood-stained fence post inside. Martine said the murder weapon was something like a club. We might have found it. The killer must have broken this post off the fence and clubbed Zoe with it. Amir can tell us for certain. Okay. Got it. Matthew, that sample you vacuumed off the killer's crossword book looks like plain old dirt to me. But if Amir gets a lead from this sample, Zoe's killer could be within our grasp. see you guys when both of these are done. Okay, we are back. Let's get the results of the bloodstained fence post, and let's put a killer behind bars with these two. I'm eager to see Zoe's killer brought to justice, Matthew, so I'll keep my report on that fence post brief. The blood and skin tissue are a match for Zoe, and the post itself matches her head wound. So that fence post is the murder weapon, Matthew. Precisely. Which means any residue on it was left behind by the killer, like the small traces of sweat I detected. Now, there wasn't much DNA in the sweat, but the profile indicates your killer has brown eyes. The killer has brown eyes, Matthew. They'll have to look into our eyes and explain why they murdered Zoe. Amir, what can you tell us about the dirt Matthew collected from the killer's crossword book? There was nothing to deduce from the substance itself. It's just dirt from the hospital courtyard. However, I found a small metal clasp among the particles. It didn't take long to realize it's the kind of clasp found on the back of a badge. Ah, those fiddly little things you fasten a badge with. I always have trouble with the one on my own badge. Apparently our killer does too. Keep an eye out for a badge, Matthew. It's time we got justice for Zoe and arrested her killer, Matthew. Come on, we're doing this for Jones. For Jones. It's not Tobias Randall. It's not Kai Gruber. It's not Jennifer Russo, hard to believe. Oh, wait. Not Rosamund Wilcox. Blue Eyes, no, that's not Jennifer Russo. Now, why am I not surprised here? Louis LaRue, you're under arrest. Of all the predators who might have killed Zoe, it turns out to be one of her friends. You're arresting me? That's preposterous. We know you argued this morning. Did it get so heated that you struck Zoe on the head with that fence post? Fence post? No, Senior Trooper Matthews. Zoe was fine when I left her. She was far from fine. You hit her on the head, then wiped your hands with a page from your crossword puzzle book. A crossword puzzle? That doesn't prove anything. Stop lying, LaRue. Your DNA was all over the murder weapon. We know you did it. Did you kill Zoe because she rejected your inappropriate advances? No! I told you, there was nothing romantic between us. I killed her because I discovered what she could do with her mind. You... what? What are you talking about? Zoe! She could move things with her mind. Levitating cups, throwing small objects across the room just by thinking of them. Sorry about that, guys. Senior Trooper Matthew, I know it sounds crazy, but I saw it with my own eyes. I discovered it by accident. When I walked into Zoe's room unannounced a few weeks ago, she was levitating a teacup. Levitating teacups? Maybe you should have spent some time in the asylum, LaRue. You're nuts. It's true, though. When I asked her about it, Zoe refused to discuss it, pretending it never happened. I don't even know how long it had been going on for. But I couldn't stop thinking about it. What if Zoe's strange abilities were the result of what was done to her under the dome? Senior Trooper Matthew, don't you understand? What if there was more to Dreamlike's experiments than what you'd uncovered? What if Protozane wasn't the only thing they made? Zoe was the only subject to survive the test, and I was the only one who knew what Zoe could do. It was my responsibility to uncover the truth. So that's why Zoe didn't trust you. That's why she wanted you to stay away. I needed her to understand how important this was, so I went to see her this morning to convince her to submit to tests, to examine what was happening to her. But Zoe freaked out at the prospect of more experiments. She swore she wouldn't let another person poke or prod her again. So you killed her. I believed I could convince her. Surely she didn't want Dreamlight to get away with the terrible things they've done, but she refused, then became hysterical. She screamed, threatening to call an orderly. I knew if I was thrown out for good, I'd have no opportunity to find out more. This was my only chance. I panicked, hitting her with that fence post to keep her quiet. I wasn't thinking, Senior Trooper Matthew. I truly lost my mind. Now my friend is gone forever, and we might never know the truth. Matthew, that's a lot to take in. I don't even know how to react. But the evidence against you is clear, LaRue. You're under arrest for Zoe Kusama's murder. Louis LaRue, you're charged with the murder of Zoe Kusama. How do you plead? Guilty, Your Honor. I got obsessed with an idea. I thought I was pursuing the truth, and I murdered a dear friend. You've taken the life of a woman who'd already suffered more than her fair share, all in the name of catching a scoop. As such, I'm sentencing you to life in prison. I'm so sorry, Zoe. What have I done? I don't know what to make of this, Matthew. Louis LaRue admits to murdering Zoe, but claims Zoe had extraordinary abilities, moving objects with her mind. While these claims do sound astonishing, Matthew, what if LaRue is right and those experiments under the dome are responsible for whatever was happening to Zoe? After all, we ourselves are wondering if Zoe could have been a test subject for Planet Supernova. But what does levitating cups have to do with making humans more resilient? And how do we know LaRue is telling the truth about... Matthew, I heard you arrested Louis LaRue for murdering Zoe. Jones, I don't think you should be... Don't worry, Matthew, I won't get angry again. That won't bring Zoe back. I'm here to thank you for bringing the killer to justice and for being a wonderful friend and colleague for so many years. And also to say goodbye. You won't see me again. Jones, what are those pills? What are... Oh gosh. Jones, no! Oh my god. We'll see if we can save Jones and go to the Stars 4-6. Alright, we're back. We'll start To the Stars 4-6. And we last left off with Jones taking some pills. How do we know LaRue is telling the truth? Okay. But I can't face life without Zoe, knowing that I failed as a cop and as a boyfriend. I didn't protect her, Matthew. No, Jones, don't! Matthew, Oh my god, Jones! He's not breathing, Matthew! We have to get Jones to the hospital now! I've spoken to the doctors about Jones's condition, Matthew, and it's not good. Please tell us he'll be okay, Gabriel. Jones ingested a lethal dose of sedatives. He's unconscious and there's no telling whether he'll pull through. I knew Jones was in bad shape, but I never imagined he'd attempt suicide. If Jones doesn't get an antidote quickly, his organs will fail and he'll die. Dear God, what are we going to do? I should be able to synthesize a compound to counteract the sedatives, Matthew. A pure concentration of flumazenol solution will neutralize the benzodiazepine Jones has taken. Unfortunately, the doctors don't have any in supply. What about the asylum? They might have Flumazeno on hand. It's worth a shot, Matthew. You and Gabriel head over to the asylum. I'll monitor Jones's condition. Do whatever it takes to save Jones, Matthew. His life hangs in the balance. Meanwhile, we must get to the bottom of LaRue's claims about Zoe's extraordinary powers. When you're done searching for medication at the asylum, we'll interrogate LaRue. Here we are. This is grim, Matthew. If we don't act fast, those pills Jones took will kill him. You think that bottle could be what Amir needs to synthesize the antidote? Quick, let's make the label legible. That's a bottle of Flumazeno, Matthew. Exactly what we were looking for. Let's rush this bottle to Amir. I hope we're not too late. We're good, only 3 hours. Now let's talk to Louis LaRue. Senior Trooper Matthew, what have I done? I killed one of my dearest friends. And for what? The pursuit of the truth. We're not interested in your guilty conscience or your empty remorse, LaRue. If it was up to me, we wouldn't even be standing here. We want you to tell us everything you know about Zoe's alleged abilities. I know it's hard to believe, Senior Trooper Matthew, but just like police officers, journalists only work with facts. I have proof. After I saw Zoe moving things with her mind, I knew I needed to record evidence of it. I couldn't do it openly because she was afraid of anyone finding out. So I hid a camera in her room. You what? That's despicable! It wasn't to invade Zoe's privacy, Senior Trooper Matthew. I just needed proof of what I'd seen. I'll believe this proof when I see it. Let's go find this camera in Zoe's room, Matthew. You might as well take this, Senior Trooper Matthew. I won't be needing it anymore. Chase is on to save Jones, and I do hope, and I sure as hell hope we do. There it is. Is this just a wild goose chase, Matthew? I don't see LaRue's hidden camera anywhere. Oh, I see. There's a lens on that picture frame, and there's a keypad on the back. I'll leave decrypting the camera's password to you, Matthew. Almost like espionage. You've unlocked LaRue's hidden camera, Matthew. All we have to do is press play to see what's recorded. This feels like such a breach of privacy. But you're right. At least we'll know the truth about Zoe's alleged abilities. Let's watch the recording. "3 o'clock already? Time for a cup of tea." Wait! Oh my god, it's happening again! What's wrong with me? I don't know what to say, Matthew. Did you see that? LaRue's telling the truth. Zoe could move objects with her mind. You're right. We can't proceed without orders from the chief. Let's brief her on what we've discovered. I reviewed the recording you found of Zoe levitating objects, and I'm speechless, Matthew. So are we. LaRue's actions were despicable, but he wasn't lying about Zoe's abilities. LaRue wanted Zoe to undergo tests to determine what caused these powers, but Zoe was understandably reluctant. So our question remains, were Zoe's abilities part of Ad Astra's development of a human resilience serum? I hate to say this, Matthew, but there's only one solution. Martine should autopsy Zoe's body again. "18 hours again. Okay. I'll see y'all soon." Okay, we have returned. Let's get the results of the second autopsy. Matthew, my autopsies are normally about examining traces of a crime, analyzing the impact of violence, but finding evidence of telekinetic ability. Where do you start? We're definitely navigating unknown territory. Did you find anything at all? I focused my examination on Zoe's brain, identifying a number of anomalies in the occipital lobe. The what? The occipital lobe is an area of the brain. Zoe showed signs of hyperstimulation, something that can't be explained by natural causes. Could this anomaly have been caused by Dreamlife's experiments with protozane? Absolutely not. Protozane affects a different brain area, and it inhibits activity, not stimulates it. But I found evidence that Zoe's occipital lobe was exposed to another substance, a different derivative of beryllium. So this confirms Zoe was given the superhuman serum, just like we thought. Exactly. Matthew, you should show my autopsy report to Jasper and Amir. It could help them understand how the serum works. Amir is monitoring Jones's condition at the hospital, so let's brief Jasper on our findings. Okay. My heart goes out to your colleague, Matthew. Such a tragic loss for Jones. We appreciate that, Jasper. Now, have you reviewed Martine's autopsy report on the mutations in Zoe's brain and her strange telekinetic abilities? Yes, thank you. Zoe's mutations are fascinating. All the more since that's very clearly not what Dr. Hoover and his team intended with their human enhancement serum. The documents he found in the dome were very clear. The serum was supposed to increase human resilience. Zoe's powers were an unintended side effect. Our research into Ad Astra's serum is just beginning, Matthew. This autopsy report will help a great deal in working out how it actually works. Now let's see if we can save Jones. You're right on time, Matthew. That flumazenol you brought me was just what I needed. I've synthesized an antidote. Let's get back to the hospital so we can administer the medicine to Jones. Matthew, I've given Jones the antidote, and it wasn't a moment too soon. With a bit of rest, Jones will make a full recovery in a few days. He's still not out of the woods yet, Matthew. Jones' mental state is very fragile. He'll have to fight to get better, and if Jones gives up, all the medicine in the world won't save him. Maybe you should try talking to him, Matthew. If anyone can give Jones a little boost, it's you. Oh, it's you, Matthew. I'm sorry for all the trouble I've caused. But I don't want to go on living with this pain. Without Zoe, there's no point anymore. Jones, you mustn't talk like that. We're all here for you. You'll get through this. No, just let me go. In peace. I want to be with Zoe. Matthew, Jones isn't in a state to be reasoned with. We should let him rest. Good idea, Matthew. We could talk to Dr. Russo for some advice on how to handle this. I've heard about Detective Jones's condition, Senior Trooper Matthew. How can I help? His emotional state is fragile. With Zoe gone, Jones doesn't see any reason to go on. I understand, and I think I have an idea. During her treatment, I encouraged Zoe to write letters to Detective Jones, not to send, but rather to articulate her feelings. Reading Zoe's innermost thoughts might restore Detective Jones' will to live. We must find those letters in Zoe's room, Matthew. And let's grab a donut on the way, too. That could cheer up Jones. Got it. Those scraps of paper look like a letter, Matthew. If it's one of the letters Zoe wrote, we may be in luck. Let's piece these scraps together. Eureka! This is a letter to Jones. Zoe wrote it a few days ago. Let me read what this says. My darling David, you stood by me through everything that's happened, which has meant the world to me. Yes, this is just what we need. We must show this letter to Jones at once. Matthew, please go away. I want to be alone. Jones, read something you'll want to read. It's a letter from Zoe. A letter? I didn't know Zoe wrote me one. My darling David, you stood by me through everything that's happened, which has meant the world to me. I don't know what the future holds for me, whether I'll ever get better and go back to my old life. But my only hope is that you, David, remember all the happy days we had before all of this happened. Zoe really loved you, Jones. I know you can't imagine the life without her now, but she would have wanted you to try and be happy. If that's what Zoe wanted, then I owe it to her to try. She saw the best in me. I shouldn't disappoint her. Thank you, Matthew, for saving my life, for everything all of these years. You've been my friend for so long, you never let me down. I know it's not much, but take this as a token of my gratitude. Okay, let's finish this out. This has been one roller coaster of a day, Matthew. My head hurts just thinking about it. Thanks to your quick action, Jones will make a full recovery. That's in physical terms, Chief. His emotional recovery will be a long and painful process. Yes, Jones will need some time away from the department to grieve and to heal. The best thing all of us can do is be there for him through this difficult time. Meanwhile, although we never got a chance to ask Zoe what she knew about the Human Enhancement Project, we've learned a great deal. Our tests have confirmed Zoe was injected with Ad Astra superhuman serum. Except the telekinetic abilities she developed were not the intended effects. The serum was created to increase human resilience, not cause mutations. Jasper and Amir will continue to analyze Dr. Hoover's research. There are still so many unanswered questions. There's of course the matter of Louis LaRue, Chief. He claims he told us everything he knows about Zoe's abilities. But what if he isn't telling the whole truth? I agree, Matthew. LaRue was a reporter, and he was hell-bent on going after the truth. It's possible he's uncovered more than he's willing to share with us. Matthew, I want you to search LaRue's office at the TV station. He's the best lead we've got. That'll be in the next case. Last scene, and I'm glad that Jones is going to be okay. I wish you could say the same for Frank and in Pacific Bay, and Armand Dupont in the World Edition, and even Charlie Dupont from Mysteries from the Past. Okay, so this next case is coming out January 17th. Five new ones. that we're using. 2 new ones. And that's gonna do. Of course, it is pretty chilly outside in Hawaii. Honestly, I'm pretty cold. But we have come a long way. Even 214,000. And we will see you guys for the next case on January 17th. So thank you for watching. This is Matthew, and I'll see you again.